The older you get, the more you learn that family can bless your table or steal the food right off it. My name is Miss Lillian Mae Johnson, 78 years old, born and raised in Birmingham, Alabama. I worked 40 years cleaning homes that weren't mine, saving every dollar, every chick, so that when I got old, I wouldn't have to depend on nobody. But life has a way of testing the good-hearted. When my knees got bad, I moved in with my grandson, Darnell, and his wife, Kendra. They said they'd take care of me, make sure I had everything I needed. I believed them because I raised Darnell like my own son after his mama passed. At first, everything seemed fine. My room was cozy, my meals were hot, and every month my Social Security check came right on time. But after a while, I started noticing things. Bills unpaid, my account balance dropping, and Darnell driving around in a brand new car. One afternoon, I asked him about it. "Baby, did my check come in this month?" I asked. He smiled, too quick. "Yeah, Grandma, I handled it for you. Don't worry about nothing." "Handled it?" I said softly. "You mean you cashed it?" "It's easier this way, Grandma. You don't need all that stress. We're family, remember?" That night I couldn't sleep. Something didn't feel right, so I pulled out my old notebook, the one where I wrote every payment I ever made, every check I ever received. I started doing the math, and baby, the numbers didn't lie. 3 months' worth of money, gone. Next morning, I called Social Security myself. "Ma'am, your benefits have been rerouted to a new account, under your name but with a different mailing address." I froze. "What address?" She read it out loud. It was Darnell's. When I hung up, my hands shook, but not from fear, from fire. I had been quiet my whole life, but this time I wasn't staying silent. That evening, I called a woman from my church, Miss Carla, who worked as a social worker for the county. I told her everything. She listened, calm and steady, then said, "Miss Lillian, don't you move a finger. We'll handle this the right way." She came by 2 days later, wearing her badge and holding a folder. "Ma'am, what your grandson did falls under elder financial exploitation. If you'll trust me, we can open a case and let the law do the talking." I smiled slow. "Oh, I trust you, baby. I've been quiet long enough." That night I heard Darnell arguing with Kendra. "Why'd you let her call that woman?" he snapped. "You think she's stupid? You took too much. You should have left some." I sat there in my room, lights off, tears rolling down my face, not from pain, but from clarity. The same hands that once fed them were now the hands they bit. I whispered to the night, "Lord, I may be old, but I ain't helpless, and I sure ain't done fighting." To be continued.
For more real stories of pain, truth, and redemption, subscribe now and hit the bell icon. Your support keeps these voices alive. When people mistake kindness for weakness, they forget storms are made of soft clouds, too. It was a quiet Thursday morning when Miss Carla came back. She had that look in her eye, calm, confident, ready for battle. "Miss Lillian," she said softly, "if you're ready, we can catch them the right way. I need you to play along. Let them think you still don't know." I nodded slow. "Baby, I've been playing along my whole life. Let's do this." That afternoon, I heard Darnell bragging on the phone. "Man, she don't even check her mail anymore. Easy money. I just signed her name and sent it over." His words were like knives, each one cutting deeper than the last. But I stayed quiet, pretending to nap in my chair while Miss Carla's little recorder sat hidden under the couch cushion. Later that day, Miss Carla returned with 2 officers from Adult Protective Services.
They came quietly, respectful, not making a scene. "Ma'am, we just need confirmation. Do you consent to an investigation into your financial records?" "Baby," I said with a slow smile, "I consent to the truth." For 3 weeks they gathered evidence, bank statements, signatures, transfer slips. Every lie Darnell told built a wall around him, and I didn't have to lift a finger. Then one Friday morning, everything came crashing down. Darnell and Kendra were sitting in the kitchen when a loud knock hit the door. "County Investigations," a voice called. "Open up." Darnell's face turned pale. "Grandma, what's going on?" I looked him straight in the eye. "What's going on is your payday just ended." 2 officers stepped in, calm but firm. "Mr. Darnell Coleman, you're under investigation for elder exploitation and fraud. You have the right to remain silent." Kendra started crying. "We didn't mean no harm. We just needed help." Miss Carla looked at her sharply. "Stealing a woman's dignity ain't help, sweetheart." They led Darnell out in handcuffs. He looked back at me, eyes full of shame. "Grandma, you called the cops on your own blood?" I stood up, my cane steady in my hand. "No, baby, I called the truth on a thief." The room went silent. Even the officers paused. Miss Carla smiled faintly, whispering, "You just said that for the history books." When they left, I sat by my window again. The air outside felt cleaner, lighter. I closed my eyes and whispered, "Lord, I didn't need revenge. I just needed respect." Weeks later, the county reimbursed every dollar Darnell stole. My checks came back in my name. And one morning, Miss Carla brought me a letter from Darnell, handwritten from the county jail. "Grandma," it said, "I'm sorry. I thought I was helping. I was wrong. You taught me better, and I forgot. But I'll make it right when I get out." I folded that letter slow, put it in my Bible, and said, "Good. Let time teach him what I already knew, that greed steals more than money, it steals your peace."
For more real stories of pain, truth, and redemption, subscribe now and hit the bell icon. Your support keeps these voices alive.
Sometimes justice ain't about seeing someone punished. It's about watching the truth finally stand tall. 3 months passed. The seasons changed, but the silence in my house stayed heavy. Every morning, I'd pour 2 cups of coffee, one for me, one for the boy who used to laugh at this same kitchen table. Then one afternoon, Miss Carla called. "Miss Lillian," she said gently, "the court date's been set. You can speak if you want." I took a long breath. "Oh, I'm gonna speak, baby. I just ain't gonna shout." The courthouse smelled like old wood and new truth. Darnell walked in wearing an orange jumpsuit. His head hung low, but when he looked up, those same brown eyes that once begged me for candy now begged me for mercy. The judge read the charges: elder exploitation, mail fraud, identity theft. The room was still as I stood to give my statement. "Your Honor," I said, holding my cane steady, "this boy stole from me. But what hurt more is that he forgot who raised him. He forgot that love don't come with a price tag." The judge nodded, but my words weren't for him. They were for Darnell. "You took my checks, baby. You took my name off the bank account. But you didn't take my pride. You didn't take my strength. And you sure didn't take my forgiveness." Darnell started crying right there. "Grandma, I don't deserve that." I said softly, "You don't, but you gonna learn why I gave it anyway." The judge leaned forward. "Mrs. Coleman, what do you want this court to do?" I smiled faintly. Make him serve his time, but when he gets out, make him work at the community center. Let him help other old folks learn how to protect their money. Maybe that'll teach him what mine was worth." The judge looked impressed. "You seek rehabilitation, not revenge." I said, "Revenge is heavy, Your Honor, and I'm too old to carry anything but peace." The gavel fell. Sentence delivered. 2 years and mandatory community service upon release. When I walked out, Miss Carla squeezed my hand. "You did something powerful today, Miss Lillian." I smiled. "No, baby. I just reminded the world what a grandmother's love can do." Months later, I got a letter again. This time, it wasn't an apology. It was a plan. Darnell wrote, "Grandma, I'm running a class for inmates on respecting elders and building back trust. You gave me a purpose." I held that letter to my chest, tears slipping down my cheek. "That's my boy. Now you learning the value of something money can't buy. Redemption."